Welcome to day 7, everyone. Thank you for coming on. I am Michelle O'Connor, your business growth strategist, and we've been going through a series of developing your business growth plans as we plan and prepare for 2026. And even if you are watching this video and it's another year, it could be 5 years, 2030, you name it. These principles that we're talking about are still relevant. And I say that because today we're going to be talking about selecting the right growth model for your business, how to develop the right growth strategy. And we're using a principle that was created from maybe 1906 or 1960, which is the Ansoff Matrix. I probably should really get the right year, but it was created a very long time ago. And that is what we're going to be talking about today. If you missed yesterday we really touched on understanding the KPIs for your business, the right KPIs that you need to use to track your growth. And we're moving now into how do I know where I am on my growth path? How do I know where my business is? And how do I know what I'm going to be focusing on? This week, we're setting the goals, but I want you to understand the importance of identifying this, because if you don't know where you are on your growth trajectory, then you find yourself jumping and creating initiatives that leaves you feeling confused. So we're going to jump into it. If at any point in time you would like to have a conversation, or you're wondering to yourself, this is good stuff, how do I get in touch with you? I'm going to be dropping my calendar link in the chat. Go ahead and feel free to schedule a call and share this with other founders and CEOs who are thinking about how do I create more structure going into 2026. So let's jump into it. Now, I shared earlier that we're going to be talking about the Ansoff Matrix, and the Ansoff Matrix is another strategic planning tool that helps you to plan your growth in a very structured way. It contains 4 quadrants, which I probably should show you, but I'm going to share it with you first and then I show you after. So in the event you see this, you're like, yeah, we know exactly what this is. So the Ansoff Matrix, it helps you to think about where am I going to be growing, or how am I going to be growing. So the 4 quadrants, the first one is market penetration. This is growing from what you already do. These are people you already serve. These are products or service that you already offer, and you're going to be penetrating the market more with what you already have. Now, if you're thinking about growth and you say to yourself, I am going to just grow with what we have, this is what we do good, this is what we do best, we're going to continue your focus on market penetration. That way, when you start your growth decision, or when you're setting your targets in terms of how are we going to grow and what are we going after, you know, if you set a target of 100,000, what we're doing is that we're going to continue market this lip gloss to men. I think this is for men. That's it. That is market penetration. Now, in the second quadrant, you have product development. What is product development, you may ask? Now, product development is where you are developing something new, a new product or a new service for your existing markets. We already serve these people, and we're going to be offering them something more. And as I go more into the live, what I'm going to be sharing with you is just some questions that you can ask yourself, and also how it is you can use some of the tools we discussed last week to help you to decide this. The other quadrant in the matrix is market development, and market development is where you are going to offer your same product or service to a new market. And then the last quadrant is diversification, which is high risk, new product, new market. So let me show you what it looks like before we jump in, so that way if you go anywhere and you see it, you're like, yeah, I've seen that before. So this is what the Ansoff Matrix looks like, and these are the 4 quadrants that we just discussed. Yes, it was 1960. You have your market penetration, which is your existing products. You're sharing that with existing market. These are the same people, the same clientele, the same demographic that you serve. Product development, you're finding a new product. You're serving your existing market. Market development, existing product to a new market. And then diversification, everything is new. All right, so let's jump into continue talking about now how you might be saying to yourself, how do I decide which one I focus on and what I do, and also just sharing with you some examples. So as I said before, when you think of market penetration, it's what you already do, the clients you already serve, and the environment you're already in. Now, one of the things I want you to remember, the tools we discussed last week, I think it was on day 3, we spoke about assessing your environment. We also spoke about on Friday of last week, that would have been day 5, how to use a SWOT. Now, when you gather the data from that, you will be seeing, you know what, your people, one of your questions could be talking about your product or your service, and you would have garnered information that is helping you to decide whether or not this product or service that you're offering is working, you're equipped, we're doing it well, let's continue to do it. You make a decision, we're going to be growing by penetrating our market more. Set your targets that way. We're setting targets tomorrow, I think. So therefore, I wanted to have this conversation today. So when you set your target, you're setting the target from an informed position. So this is what we do best. We're going to be continue doing this. When you set that target of $100,000 tomorrow, you know exactly who you're targeting and what you're going to be offering. Does this make sense for you? Go ahead and drop that in the chat. Let me know if you're following, and also feel free at any point in time to ask questions. Examples of companies that are in market penetrating phase, I would say Apple, because if we're honest, right now, Apple isn't offering anything new. It's the same product and service that they're offering to the very same market. So when you think market penetration, you can think about Apple. It's the same iPhone, laptops are the same, everything is the same. I think when we go into the others, I'll tell you at what phase of their business they had gone into diversification or even product development. McDonald's, Coca-Cola, those are 2 other examples. They continue to market the very same products, and they're targeting the very same people. Now it's NFL season. The chips are out, the Gatorade, you name it, all those products is the same people they're marketing it to. They just know that at this time of the year, maybe is when they have a large portion of their marketing budget being spent, because it's football season. So everybody's on watching. So that's market penetration for you. The next one is market development. So remember, for market development, you're offering the same product. So we use this as an example, the same product, and you are offering that to a new market, a new client base. So it's what you do well, but more people want it. And you may have gotten this from your client survey. So we spoke last week about how you're using the data that you're collecting to make decisions. This is one such way. So you would have probably done surveys, you surveyed your clients, and what your clients are saying to you is, we are in need of this thing, we're in need of more. Or they may not say it directly to you, but they probably ask, where can we get this? And you probably realize it's a complementary service or product to what you currently offer. So you're thinking of how can you give them more of it. You probably have outgrown your current segment. We've served them, we've given them all the things that they need, and we need to continue to grow. And even as we go through, you might be asking, why is this important? It's important for you to know which quadrant you are in, because as you think about setting your targets for next year, you don't want to set your targets and target persons who you won't be getting any revenue from, who you've already saturated. You've given them all they need to get. You won't be offering any more value to them. And that is why you need to know, because you don't want to set a target, start your marketing, start going after clients, and nothing is happening. And you're wondering, what am I doing wrong? You may just have targeted the wrong group of people, or you're offering them the wrong product or service. And that is why knowing which quadrant you're in currently is very, very important. So you may have gotten information, as I said earlier, from your client surveys, from the environmental assessment. I think we did that on day 3. I'm going to drop that link if you're just joining and you didn't get a chance to watch it. It's important that you assess your environment so you know if there's going to be any impact. So if you're looking at your competition, what is your competition doing that could negatively impact your clientele and your growth opportunity? Has it already impacted your market share? You want to also know that and ask those questions. There might be regulatory changes that are coming. I have a client who is a lawyer. There are a lot of changes that are happening in the immigration space. how will that affect the product or service that they're offering? Will they need to change? Will they need to change a group of persons that they're targeting? You want to ask yourself those questions, but you have to assess your environment first. Look at the tools, look at your SWOT, look at the surveys that you've administered, and see if there's any information that will impact how you grow and as you grow. And you might have started out and say, okay, you know what, I'm going to focus on market penetration. I continue to serve these clients and I'm serving them well. However, when I assess my environment, I realize that there's coming changes in regulations, or there's tariff, or there are macroeconomic factors, there's inflation, you name it. I now need to change. We need to think about how we are going to grow going into the next year, considering the things that are out of our control. Any questions? And if you know exactly where you are and you also want to share that, you can go ahead and type that in the comments. So examples of that: Uber is now offering Uber Teens. So it's the same product. They're transporting persons from one location to the next, but they're targeting a new segment. They are allowing, they've set their system up. So if you have a teenager, they can travel on their own, and they've put things in place. You can track, you can share, you name it. Starbucks, they probably would have started in the US, and they thought of, let's go into different countries. Let's go to China, let's go to Asia, let's go in the Caribbean. You name the location. It's the same thing that you offer, and you are just bringing it to somewhere else. The other one is product development. Now, for product development, remember we shared earlier, it's the same market segment that you're serving, the same group of clients, the same demographic. How you describe your clients, you continue to serve those people, but you're offering them a very new product. They may have asked for it, they need it, but guess what? You are focusing on mastering one aspect of your business, and now that is growing and it's running without much hassle. You can close your eyes and deliver your product or service. Now it's time for you to offer something different. And again, I encourage you, use that video that we did on day 3 where we spoke about assessing your environment. I think you should also watch the SWOT video, because that helps you to give you a good picture of where your business is as a CEO and a founder. So you're able to make a decision on how you are going to grow going into next year. Look at your list of products and services and see, have we saturated? Do we need to do something different? So your client base is loyal. You don't want to lose them. So you're thinking to yourself, what else can we offer them? Some persons think of, and this falls in market penetration, you're bundling existing products that you have. You probably already done that. They've asked for something new. There are add-ons that they want. So I can give you a financial example where we're offering deposits and repurchase agreements, you name it, different investment tools. Let me put it that way for persons who are not familiar. And we realized that our clients wanted insurance, or we realized that our clients wanted a pension plan for themselves, or we realized that we had business clients who wanted pension plan for themselves or their company or their employees. Those are what you call add-ons. You're giving a new product to your existing market. They may be getting it from somewhere else as well, and you're infringing or you're stealing market share. Examples: Apple, when Apple came out to the airport, that was something new. They were still serving the existing clients, us as existing clients, but this was something new that they were bringing to the market. So you think about product development, you can think about when Apple was in that season where they were coming with new ideas. As I said, my evaluation is that Apple is in the market penetration phase because there's nothing new that's coming out. It's the same product and the same service, but in product development, it's a new product to the existing market. Apple Watch was also one thing, and Vision Pro, we're talking about like the Apple era. Google jumped into the AI tool phase, or the market, I can call that, because they realize yes, competition is there, and that is something that they need to jump into. You can also think of Nike, which causes us a lot of pain, because every time there's a new release, we have a conversation with our son about this new shoes is out, this new boot is out. they need to get it. It's the same market that they're targeting. They're targeting athletes, they're targeting their diehard Nike fans, but it's a new product that they're bringing to the market. Microsoft, when Microsoft realized that online meetings were taking off and a lot of persons were using Zoom, they're like, okay, let's come up with our version, and Teams was born. I think it probably was there already, but they weren't, that division was just not getting any attention. So with Teams, I, as a corporate client, I already have my Microsoft suite. Now let's add something on and allow you to host your meetings within this secured platform that your employees are already using instead of going somewhere else. So when you think product development, those are some examples that I want you to remember. The last one is diversification. And this is more high risk because you're looking at new products or new services and you're going into a new market. So this is brand new. So you would have outgrown your current market base. You've offered them all the products and services that you can think of. And now you are looking for something new. You're forming a new division in your organization. That is when you go to market, you go into diversification. You want to ask yourself if you've saturated your market. You want to ask yourself if you've offered your clients everything that they need, because this is one thing that I think some persons falter in. It's good to have the idea. So when you go into your boardrooms and you go into your meetings and you're meeting with your leaders, and I know CEOs who are very creative and you have ideas almost every day, you want to ask yourself if you have the capacity to take on something new. And this is what happens when you go to diversification. Now, when you go into diversification, this entails research. You want to make sure that you have specialists. It's going to take a lot of energy. This is birthing a brand new business. That is what diversification is. And some examples, Virgin. So they moved from music, then they went to airline, and then they went into banking. Everything is new. Tesla is another one. Let's move from cars and let's go into energy. That's a brand new division altogether. So you want to always remember that if you're going into diversification, it's brand new. There's so many aspects that's a whole life by itself of your business if you think of going into diversification. So that is what I want you to think of. And I want you to remember this, because when you set your targets, or when you, as I shared yesterday, it's going to be an hypothesis, but when you decide on your target, you would have already thought through, what are we offering this year? How does the information that we garnered last week, how will that impact how we grow this next year? Have we saturated the market? And I also have a tool that I am going to share with you. This is a checklist that I created. I did a live on Ansoff Matrix before, and if you're not sure where you are, these are some questions that you can ask yourself. How do I know where I am and if I should be moving through the various quadrants? Right, you should be able to download it. Everyone with the link should be able to download. So you can download that worksheet and go through the questions. That way you're able to assess where you are. A question that you may be asking is, can I be in all quadrants at the same time? You can, depending on the size of your organization, because that is one question that I get. No, and I'm going to use the financial institution as an example. When we started, we were offering, let's use deposit products as an example. We realized that as we grew, there were persons who wanted to leave their funds for a longer period of time. So we offered them something else. We realized that our clients who are coming in also had motor vehicles that they wanted to insure. So we started offering insurance. So it's the same client. We talk about product development. We're offering a new product to those clients, a new product or service to the existing clients. Then we realized that we would have saturated Jamaica. We have a growth base in Jamaica. Let's go into a different country And that is where we went now into market development. Let's go to Trinidad. Let's go to Dominican Republic. And you can think of that for your business as well. As I shared with you earlier, for example, we have a client who is a lawyer. If it is that the country she's operating in have no very strict immigration policies that would negatively impact the clients that she normally gets. So persons are now afraid, they're not taking the risk. I'm not coming there. She can think of, how can I target another region? Or it can be the same product or service, and she's targeting a different group of clients if the immigration policies are targeting somebody else. And that is how you think through and utilize the information that you currently have that will help you to decide which market you're going into and how you are going to be growing based on the changes that are happening around you. I think so often we can easily get crippled by what we're seeing and what we're hearing if we don't put our strategic hat on. The information is there. Information is there to help you to make decisions and to make strategic decisions. So a lot of things around you can change, but what are you changing in your business? Am I changing what I'm offering? Or am I changing who I'm targeting? Because your skill set and what you offer will always be valid. I know even during COVID, a lot of persons, they switched to online. You're a gym instructor. The fact that persons aren't able to come into your physical space doesn't mean you shut down business. Let's pivot, let's go online. And when persons went online, what happened for them is that they were now able to target different regions. They probably did not set out to do that. It happened organically. Sorry, it happened organically, but you don't want to not make a decision because things are changing. I hope that's making sense for you, but that's how you utilize that information. Any more questions? So as we close, I want you to think of the 4 quadrants this way. For market penetration, this is what I'm going to do, more of what works for me. I'm not changing anything. We're just doing the very same thing. It works. Product development, when we think of our current clients, our current customers, we're offering them something new. That's product development. When I think of market development, I find more people who want what we already sell. And then diversification is, I'm going to be building a brand new business. Everything about this is going to be new. You may need a new CEO, you need a new division. You think about how it's going to be affecting your accounting. And that is what I want you to think through today, because I don't want you to set a target without being very, very clear about how you are going to be meeting that target. And probably not how in terms of the activity, but you need to have an idea of whether or not it's realistic, and also an idea of what you're offering and who you're going after. So that way you're setting your targets from an informed perspective. I dropped 2 links in the chat. I want you to check out our video for day 3, where we spoke about how you can assess your environment. That information can help you to decide know how you're growing. And also there's a worksheet that you can use to do a checklist to see, I might be thinking I have something new to offer, but really and truly you haven't fully penetrated your current market segment with your current products. And let's work on that instead of adding something else. What tends to happen, and I've seen this, we add another layer of complexity to our business, and that causes burnout and confusion. And you set targets to that other element that you've added without fully working through a process for what you already have. So I want you to think that through as we go into day 8 tomorrow. I hope this helped you a lot. Go ahead and do that work, and we'll see you again tomorrow. Have a great day.